Hello and welcome to the 2020 RedSnook Rules meeting. Before we get started, I just want to take some time to personally recognize and thank our sponsors that make this tournament possible. First, I'd like to thank RGM Capital and my good friend Rob Moses for their continued long-term support as the apparel sponsor. Next, I'd like to thank Jay Tompkins. He's another long-term supporter and a good friend and avid angler. Thanks to Newberry North and David Rogers for stepping up once again to help fight for clean water and more fish. The images for this year's first place awards are awesome photographs courtesy of Oliver Rogers, whose work you've probably seen in some advertising of your favorite outdoor brands. Thank you, Oliver. Additionally, I'd like to thank Davidson Engineering, Hells Bay Boat Works, Kyle Core at Sticky Holsters, John Cook at Cook Architecture and Design, Henley Shotwell at Surf and Turf Customs, Keith and Kyle Rousen at Mang for providing our awesome shirts this year, Harrison Design, Mike Myatt and the folks at Papa's Pilar Rum, and lastly, some guy at Benjamin Edwards. Thank you all for your support, and RedSnook couldn't happen without you. As you all know, 2020 has been a year of challenges and changes in our lives, and this year's RedSnook is no exception. All aspects of the RedSnook this year, with the exception of fishing, will be virtual. That includes the auction, raffle, scoring, and awards. This year's scoring and registration of fish will be done using the iAngler app. We suggest that you download the iAngler app as soon as possible. Watch the iAngler tutorial on YouTube and practice using it just so you become familiar with it. Additionally, we will provide paper scorecards as we have in the past, so you can log your fish throughout the day and use it as a backup. Now for the rules. Usually we kind of skip through them because we're in person and people can ask questions, but I'm going to go through each rule individually this year just to try to eliminate any questions. But we can always feel free to contact us with questions you may have. Number one, it's each angler's expected to know the rules of the tournament. If you see anyone violating the rules, please photograph them and share the photo with your launch site director at the end of the day.
Rule number 2. Boats can leave the dock at 7 a.m. and anglers can have their lines in the water at 7:30. You have to return to the launch site no later than 3:30 p.m. If you are late getting back, you will not receive any points for that day.
For measuring the fish must face left on the measuring board with the nose against the flat end and the stomach against the bottom edge. If you catch a tarpon, please photograph it boat side in the water and if it is safe, with the measuring board in the photo. Now I'm going to demonstrate how to properly measure a fish. Place the fish on the board, nose against the front blunt end. It's obvious which way the fish should be laying, so you'll be able to read the board if it's proper. Then you're going to have an angler A and angler B for each team. So make sure in the photo you have whichever angler is caught the fish labeled. This fish, as you can see, is about 15 3/4 inches long. This tournament, every fish is going to be rounded up to the next whole inch, so this would count as a 16-inch fish for the angler that caught it. Number 4, all anglers must do their own casting and retrieving for each cast. Circle hooks must be used in the bait division, and the fishing in this tournament is expected to be an inshore fishing tournament, so no wreck fishing and no offshore fishing. And no fishing is permitted within 200 yards of a facility that sells bait and or fuel. Rule number 5, maximum line break strength is 20 pounds, as stated by the manufacturer. I know for fly fishermen, basically you just have to have your main line be the 20-pound line. Number 6, only one working rod per angler in the water at a time. Number 7, this is a 2-person team event, and professional guides may not participate as anglers. Number 8, boats must leave and return to launch sites by water. No trailering is allowed during tournament hours, and it's recommended that anglers wear life jackets while the boat's main engine is running. Rule number 9, teams may wade fish, but the boat must be anchored at all times when an angler is out of the boat. Rule number 10, each team enters the 3 largest redfish and snook from each day. An individual angler on a team may only enter 2 snook and 2 redfish a day. This is an important part for this year because we're using iAngler, so you're going to be responsible for uploading the fish that you want to count each day by 5 p.m. Mainly we've made it 5 p.m. for the anglers that fish down in Chokoloskee and Everglades City. The cell service can be spotty, so we want to give those teams a chance and time to upload their photos. But another benefit of iAngler is that every photo that's taken is time-stamped and dated. So, there wouldn't be any possibility of cheating because obviously if a fish shows 3:01 being caught or at 6:59 being caught in the photo, then obviously it wouldn't be counted. Rule number 11, there are 5 divisions: guided and unguided bait, guided and unguided artificial, and fly. If you're fishing in one of the guided divisions, you're responsible for paying the guide fees. Rule number 12, the artificial and fly divisions are artificial lure divisions, so no tipping is permitted. In the bait division, you may use live or dead bait, and you may tip your jigs if you're using jigs. No chumming is allowed in any division. Rule number 13, scoring is 10 points per inch on Saturday and 15 points per inch on Sunday. As I mentioned, all fish will be rounded up to the next full inch. For example, if you catch a 24 1/8 inch snook, it is rounded up as being a 25-inch snook on the scorecard. Pinch the tail on all snook and redfish to make them as long as possible so you can get the maximum points you can. Rule number 14, there is no minimum size restrictions for fish entered in the RedSnook unless you're going for the slam. Rule number 15 is specifically about the slam. If you catch a tarpon over 30 inches, a redfish over 18 inches, and a snook over 27 inches, you may choose to enter those fish for the slam award. A team must catch all 3 fish the same day, with each angler contributing at least 1 fish. The tarpon must measure 30 inches from the nose to the fork of the tail, and the maximum inches to be counted for any tarpon is 50 inches. If you choose to go for the slam, the tarpon may be caught using bait, artificial, or fly, regardless of the division you're fishing in. The redfish and the snook used as part of the slam will be removed from your regular tournament scorecard. A very important part of if you decide to go for the slam is that iAngler will not recognize the slam. So if you wish to enter a slam, you must self-report it to Chanel McGregor at 239-963-7466, and again, submit the photos by 5 p.m. each day for the catch. Rule number 16, ties are broken by the team that caught the last fish to complete their scorecard first. For example, if 2 teams have the exact same number of points, whichever team caught their last snook or redfish to fill out their 6 fish for the day will win the tournament, or win that tiebreaker. Rule number 17, again, we're going to have the Trash Can Slam Award, which is the combined length of a jack, a catfish, and a ladyfish caught by 1 angler on the same day. Rule 18, this is a charity tournament, so good sportsmanship is expected. All protests, if you have one, must be made to the site director by 4 p.m. on the day of the complaint. We haven't had one in years, and let's try to keep it that way. Rule number 19 is basically the hurricane rule. If it's unsafe, we will have to postpone the tournament or cancel the tournament, depending on weather conditions. Rule 20, teams must declare their division and launch site by October 16th of 2020. And most of all, just have fun and be safe on the water. And thank you for supporting Clean Water and More Fish.